Oh, you're not wearing your glasses this time? I thought we're doing a nerd episode.
Oh shit! Where are my glasses? Wait, but I have the blue filter, so it might reflect in the. Wait.
Yes, same for me. I'm also, I recently.
You also saw the mess behind me.
I recently acquired this nice pair of blue light glasses too, so you see the reflection as well. That's the media student glass episode right here.
I don't like wearing headphones and glasses. That's always awkward.
Fair. Welcome to the nerd episode.
Welcome to the new episode of Might As Well Play Minecraft.
That'd be a good special, man. The Might As Well Minecraft server.
Might as well.
Alright, okay. And with that.
And glass struggles.
Glass struggles. Welcome to the first international episode of Might As Well the podcast.
Ooh, finally made it,
Two
man.
dudes chilling in their bedroom.
500 kilometers apart because they're not gay.
Yeah, maybe we should explain the situation. Why are we recording in this setting?
Exactly. Also, the background you see here, I don't know, it's not my room. So privacy, the issue. I mean, not really. But I'm here in at my dad's place in Germany. So this is the first ever international episode. I'm on a little bit of a vacation, visiting the fam. Haven't done that in a while. So yeah, here we are. It's
important. Yeah, in case you're listening to this on an audio platform on YouTube, we'll upload the video and there you can see what we mean by any visual aspects.
That is actually very true. If you want to see these faces talk some bullshit, without just, the voices, then head on over to YouTube.
Hell yeah. Do you think some listeners that I don't know if we don't have listeners that haven't met us, but maybe they connected the wrong face to the wrong voice?
That's a good question. I'd love to hear their thoughts on this because as we said before, if you listen to a podcast, you rarely you want to see the face to it and it usually surprises you. So maybe they're also completely off.
Yeah, and we also don't call each other by our names, right? There's a hey, Philip. Hey, how you doing?
That's true. I mean, maybe sometimes, but I wouldn't say that's the usual, way of communicating. Yeah.
Speaking of names, because we kind of have this streak going of starting each episode with a fun news article.
Okay.
And I think you came across it. If I say the name Josh.
Josh. I don't know if I have.
Okay, I'm pretty glad that you haven't heard of this because then I can explain it to you. It's so fucking great.
Okay.
When the pandemic started, I think it was Josh Swain. He just uploaded something. I don't even know to which platform, but he said, "Hey, I'm the real Josh. Let's have a battle of the Joshes. Let's settle this for once." And he just uploaded some random coordinates and wanted all Joshes to fight. And the winner would be able to keep the name Josh and the rest, we need to change their name or something.
Okay.
So, it was planned to be yesterday or something. So everyone was fucking excited, but I thought this was going to be the next Area 51 where everyone was hyping the situation and nothing would happen, right?
Yeah.
But people actually showed up. Hundreds of people showed up to the coordinates. And they all brought water noodles to hit each other with. And a 4-year-old won. Little Josh. He won. And he even received treatment at a children's hospital. And they raised over 8,000 euros for the hospital as well. So it's just a very fun thing to show what the internet also can do.
Yeah, wait, excuse me. Did you say he received treatment at a hospital?
Yeah, he needed hospital treatment, and through this kind of like a fundraiser, he got the treatment he needed.
Oh, I thought he got punched too hard by a water noodle.
No.
Battle wounds, it's no, he got to get treatment.
Little Josh. No, he even got a belt. A victory belt and a crown, but he was too little, so the crown just fell onto his shoulders. It was really cute.
Oh, okay. But that's so wholesome, man. That's so wholesome.
Yeah, and people showed up in suits, and people made actual weapons of spinning water noodles and shit. It was really fun to see.
Man, shout out to all the Joshes that helped make that happen, man.
Yeah, it didn't look too corona proof, but it was a nice moment.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's more important. Even though, just saying, also here in Germany, the whole Corona thing is also, a lot
Yeah,
of
I heard
people.
that in some parts of Germany you need to make appointments now to go to the grocery store. Is that also in your region?
Not really. I think the incidence, is that what they call it? Like
I
it's
have
like,
no idea. I just heard it.
no, there's this right, I think incidence in German, but I have no idea if there's like even an English version of it. It kind of like measures the like how bad the virus is in a region. And it's pretty
Uh-huh.
bad here, but we don't need to make any like appointments or anything. So far, I don't know. But it's already
Yeah.
illegal to just have like two people from the same household at the same address. Like that's already.
Ooh, no. Well, same here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, for people who don't know, and I'm kind of part of that, Germany is a federal state, right? So per region, they kind of have their own corona measurements ish, but you also have how does that work? Because you
Yeah.
are a federal state, so you do have regions, or do you have an overseeing COVID
We
entity?
do, yeah, we do. But certain states, like it also depends on the incidence number. So, like how much COVID really is in the region. And then what I really, really like about Germany is something I found out today. Even though now there are stricter measurements that are for all of the country except for the north, because there's basically no COVID, which is a nice thing, I guess. So like restaurants, even you can like dine inside there, but all the other parts of Germany are just like complete lockdown, and can't be outside later than 9, I think.
Oof. Yeah.
But what they do have, which I honestly think is a really good idea, they have certain regions and certain cities. Like they make their own plan, and that's called like, this is like, let's try this model of dealing with COVID. So like certain like cities or regions can apply for like to the state to say, hey, I want to treat COVID in that way, and they can make their own little experiment. So like certain things like they like play around with the rules, and I guess want to see what works the best, which I think is a really good idea.
Mhm.
But now recently the state was like, nah, this ain't happening anymore. So I don't know. It's good in theory, but now not too good, I guess.
Uh, just like communism, in theory.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a really nice thought, but if you do something like that, then you really gotta roll with it, Like it's
Yeah.
weird if you half-ass it.
Yeah. You either got to do it 100% or you don't.
Exactly. So like having, do this for 2 weeks is kind of like, I don't know. 2 weeks is also not really a long time to see if something works or not.
True. Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult because I also notice it with. I mean, we share some friends, but I also see it with different friends that people are getting a bit looser with the corona measurements and are a bit over it. I guess
Oh yeah.
that makes sense.
100%. Now with the weather getting better, man, it's also going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the thing. Of course, to each their own. I mean, if you don't want to comply to the rules, do that, but then don't involve yourself with people within the risk group or who do want to comply to the measurements. But yeah, I read this quote, or well, it isn't an exact quote, but it was someone in the lines of I think it was Immanuel Kant who said, "Everything has a price, but only one thing has dignity or like value, and that's a human life."
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing because I talk to people who don't comply to the measurements anymore, right? Just because I'm interested on why, and the most common argument I hear is, yeah, it's getting so hard now, or yeah, we've been in this for so long, or yeah, I'm out of patience now, which I personally don't necessarily think is the best reason not to comply to a rule anymore.
True, but that's also. Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like I saw this on the TV the other day. It was a guy who hit his girlfriend, and then his argument was, yeah, but we were going through a rough period. I'm like, yeah, well, that's when it really counts, right? When you are going through a rough period. I mean, not hitting your wife when things are easy. Yeah, that's not that hard, is it? Oh, what a nice casserole you made. That's not how life works. It's in those moments where, you are mad with each other that you don't hit each other. And I feel like it's maybe can be similar with COVID. Maybe when things, are getting harder, maybe that's when it really counts to to have some solidarity in society.
True, true. But I think it's like, especially with the COVID measurements, it's just so difficult because a lot of people also see a different perspective, so to speak, you know? And now like we've been like trapped in our homes more or less the entire winter. And to now when the weather is nice, it's so difficult not to say, hey man, like I just want to have a conversation somewhere outside, you know?
I mean, yeah, it is difficult. I mean, it's also difficult for me, don't get me wrong. That is just, I don't feel like it's difficult that's the reason not to do something in my perspective, you know?
But then what's a good reason to not comply to rules?
Well, if you say it has to do with my, for example, mental health, and therefore I'll take my responsibility and I'm not going to see anyone within the risk group, but I am going to do this and I'm fully aware of the effects that it has, then at least you show that you put a little bit more thought into it than just saying, yeah, well, I'm out of patience. It's been too long.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. But then it's the same result, you know? It's like, I get that the reason matters, but in the end, like if they still meet up with people, then does the reason matter? Because the result is the same.
For me, the reasoning matters. Because at least when you have a good reasoning, you're fully aware of what you're doing, and then you're not going to see people within the risk group or people who are complying to the measurements. If that makes sense.
True.
Just would like, because like I said, to each their own. But I would just like to see that if people make those decisions, they actually put some thought into it and not just do it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Actually, you know, like COVID is also like a one thing you keep hearing all over it on the news, anyways. Like that's like whether people apply or not. Like, I mean, that's a big topic in itself. But it's also crazy to me how whatever like news you put on, whatever thing you see corona, you see it everywhere, and it makes sense. You know, all of us are affected by it.
Yeah, that's the thing I hope, because in the Netherlands we're having tryouts now in theaters with like comedians and shit, and I really hope that content is not just gonna be about COVID, because then we're finally out of the COVID situation in a way, then it's again about COVID.
Yeah, that would be very true, man. I also don't know what to think about these like a lot of comments about two-class societies. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, because you can get a vaccination passport, right? So then you have like a non-Rona part of society, and people who don't want to vaccinate part of society.
I mean, I think like it's a very difficult topic because on one hand, it's like, okay, they're vaccinated, like they could necessarily do whatever they want. But the issue with that is also kind of like us young people, right? Who are getting the vaccinations last because we're not risk group, we're not old or whatever. We are kind of the ones that are really making the solitary stand to say like, hey, we're going to stay at home so you guys don't die from it because we don't really have that big of a risk. And then they get vaccinated first and they're allowed to do the fun stuff. Like that would be kind of mean.
Man, imagine there's going to be festivals with just old people in like a couple of months.
It's just, you know, Rolling Loud, any hip hop festival, just all 60, 70-year-olds. Yeah.
Popping painkillers.
Man, they got some meds, you know, and they can even bring it to there legally. You know, they can, that's my medication.
It's a prescription drug.
Man, the perks of being old, carrying perks.
Ooh, I also saw, I think it was from a conference or something. It was a student who asked, I think she was an anthropologist, Margaret Mead. And she asked her what the first sign of society was. And I don't know if you have an idea what the first sign of civilization is or what it could be.
The first sign of civilization?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like a ball or fish hook or whatever, like that type of shit. A wall painting of how things work.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think like signs of agriculture, right? Like that's usually like they settled there.
But she actually gave a very interesting answer because she said, in her opinion, the first real sign of a civilization and society was that she saw some bones. It was a thigh bone, I think, and you could tell that it was broken, but it had healed. And that was the first sign of civilization. So that meant that someone, because in the animal kingdom, if you break like such a prominent bone like your thigh bone, you die.
Yeah.
You know, you get left behind. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But here we can see that people actually took care of the other people and, made sure they healed, probably gave them food, gave them shelter, protected them. And it just shows that we are the best when we serve each other.
Okay. I like that. Do you
Yeah.
know how old that skeleton is?
No, I just read the Compass thingy. It didn't say how old it was.
Okay, but makes sense to me. Makes sense to me too.
It's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if he would have been by himself, like, of course you can make like out of sticks, you can try to make something, but I don't think you need other people in order to make that work.
Yeah.
So I think there are multiple signs for civilization, but I'd say that's definitely one. Good analogy.
Yeah, I don't want to say this is the one true one, but I thought it was a nice way of looking at it, and especially now in COVID times to kind of see like, hey, that's how we build our civilization, right? Looking after each other, and
yeah,
shouldn't forget that's how we started.
Yeah,
shouldn't be
very
our
wholesome.
downfall, and we don't.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's now more than ever. It's so important to like really see how connected we all are and how important it is to be there for one another.
Yeesh.
Yeah, man, on the vacation here, I've been to nature. It's been so nice. Like I've been in Holland since I think September last year, so it's been quite a minute. And now we went hiking a couple of times, right? Just like in the woods, in the mountains and stuff. And there's this one castle in particular, like hiking itself is super relaxing. But there's this one castle. It's like apparently also one of the signs of democracy, like for Germany or whatever. And it's the weirdest castle I've ever seen. It was first built like, I don't know, 11th century or something. And it was restored for like 6 million euros nowadays money in like the 1900s. And it's it's so strange. It's like a ruin, but it's so modernized that it looks like, what the fuck is this? Like you even have a self-driving bus that takes the bus stop, and it is like a completely new sidewalk and everything. And you walk there and it's just like half
the weirdest
ruined,
contrast.
The weirdest. And you're like, it's also like kind of, this is like a nice building, but are you really calling this a castle? Like, I don't know. Like it's weird. It just looks like a government building kind of put together in like a old castle ruin. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Is it surrounded by nature, or is it also surrounded by more modern shit?
No, it's surrounded by nature. It's like on a mountain, like it's in a forest. It looks completely out of place. Like certain pieces, and then like they also have pictures from inside. Like some things are like restored to like look old, but other things it's like there's like a modern ass conference hall. Because apparently like the German chancellor speaks there once a year because it's like a sign of democracy, so like it happens every year. And it's so weird. Like it really, like there's so much security around there too because of that. Like a lot of like electronic polars and like I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, but it's a weird aesthetic.
What else have you been up to in Germany other than hikes?
Not much, man. We've been hiking all day, every day, man. Just getting some nature. We went not rock climbing, but it was like a hiking, like a mountain path that went on there. And I got my car to TÜV. Do you guys have that in the Netherlands, by the way?
What?
Like TÜV is I hate it, but it's this place where you need to go with your car every 2 years to check if everything is like all right and it's okay for traffic.
Yeah.
Do you have that in the Netherlands?
Yeah. For us, it's like 1 year, I think, and sometimes 2 years.
1 year, just 1 year.
Yeah.
How much? Like, do you like, because here it's so fucking expensive, man. It's so expensive.
It's pretty expensive here too.
God damn, man.
You gotta be safe on the road.
Yeah, no, it's very, very important. But my car obviously failed. Didn't make it. Yeah. So yeah, just spend the last couple of days just trying to like find a workshop that can get it fixed like ASAP, because I'm leaving here in a couple of days. So finding like a appointment in a workshop like that early in Corona times is very difficult.
Oh,
but
fuck.
Yeah.
What exactly is wrong with it? What part? And I'm gonna pretend like I know something about cars.
I don't even know what you call it, but there's like the pipes that connect the brakes where like the braking liquid is in.
Uh-huh.
Those are very almost broken. So I'm kind of glad I've been to TÜV because that could have went horribly wrong. So yeah, gotta exchange that, and then just like a couple of smaller things. But hey, man, better safe than sorry, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's always the weird thing about cars, that when they break, it's always like within the worst moment ever. Because I know, there's, we call them like bug cars, like those really old ones.
Yeah,
that can't flip over in a curve. They have a weird system where the steering wheel is directly connected to the chassis, and that can break, but it will only break in a curve, and then you can steer. So the only moment on where you can steer in that car is when it will break is in a fucking curve.
That's perfect engineering right there. I mean, that's exactly what you want. The moment you need to steer, man, that thing is just gonna yeet.
Fuck no.
Man, but it's also so tough. Like, I think cars really show again and again, with the amount of car crashes we have. We also saw one, like driving up here, like a really bad one, and it's bizarre. Like, shit can be over so quickly, and not in a depressive note, but like, you got to be fucking cautious driving a car. I think a lot of people take it very easily, and myself too, like at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm driving, but like, one thing happens, like sometimes it's your car, sometimes it's someone else, and your shit can be over in like a second.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing, right? Because it doesn't necessarily even have to be your mistake, but someone else can be a fucking lunatic on the road.
Yeah,
and get you fucked up.
It's crazy, and but like, I'm not saying this to get depressed about it now or to give anyone panic about driving a car, but it's more like shit can be over at any second. So just be grateful for every fucking second and moment you get, because we do not know when this shit will be over. We do not know.
I mean, I had a friend of mine, props to him for admitting it, but he actually crashed his car because he was on his phone while driving.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, but like that's.
Yeah, he actually had some back problems too, because he just drove into like tree trunks that were laying beside the road. But props to him, he just bluntly admitted, like, yeah, it was totally my mistake. I was on my phone and I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, but I think the worst thing can happen in a situation like that where you like hit someone else.
Yeah. Like, you're never going to be able to forgive yourself for that.
No, for being on your phone, like for checking your messages, like how selfish necessarily,
It's also funny that you can't like use your phone in a car, but once you attach it to your window, then you can. Because then else you also need to forbid like the systems of a car.
That's so dumb.
Like, and you can eat an entire Big Mac menu in your car, but you can't call. Like, pretty sure eating a Big Mac is more intense than just having a phone call.
Very true, man. I also I think at this point in society, we also have too many rules and laws, right? We have too many. It's not simple enough anymore, right?
Well, I actually read about it today. I can't remember who wrote this, but he actually wrote about how we evolve, especially technology-wise, so fucking quick, and we release new products, new systems so quickly. But I think that's why we have so many laws. We're not really able to use them yet. They're not safe. Like, technically now, one person could hack the entire bank system and everything is fucked up. Technically, that's still possible. We're not safe in that regard yet, but still we're using those systems.
Yeah, very true. It's like the whole technology system is also weirdly underlawed, but certain things are hella overlawed. Like I heard today that it's illegal now in Germany, right? If you get like caught by a traffic camera for speeding, you're gonna get a heavy fine if you wear sunglasses. Because it apparently is like, oh yeah, your identity, they can't really tell if it's you that's on like the pic, because it always takes a picture of you, and they want to see that it's clearly you and not someone else driving the car. But
you need sunglasses to drive safely, right?
I know, and that's the weird part of it, where it's like, okay, I have this law now, but what the fuck am I supposed to do if I can't see the road?
And that's the weirdest thing to point out, because where do you draw the line? Like, you can't wear a hat too then, or
no, you're like, if you like, I think you're also
face mask.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing now, because it's technically illegal to be masked up, even in grocery stores. Do you remember that? Like that there's, at least in Germany, there's a law that you can't go masked into a grocery store.
Yeah, we have the same shit for the ski mask. That's it. Yeah.
It's like, oh, where's this now? Someone wearing a hat and a mask, you can't see shit anymore.
Yeah, well, I guess it's an exception to the rule. This whole pandemic.
That's true, but I think I don't know. That's going to be a difficult law to like, because I think masks, like in some way, shape, or form, as this pandemic will end. I think certain people are still going to wear masks just to be sure. You know, I mean, flus, people die. People die from common colds all the time.
Yeah, I remember when this pandemic started. I kind of, well, before it was in Europe, I told my mom like, "Hey, this Rona thing could really be, some serious shit." And she's like, wearing those masks, that's some Asian shit. You know how your parents can sometimes say these racist things. Like we would never do that, and now it's already so common here to just wear a mask. So maybe it will stick for some people.
That is very true. I mean, I believe so. I mean, didn't the common cold just basically disappeared during the whole COVID thing, which is also kind of sus, but that's
yeah. No, I feel also just the emergency rooms had less people. I feel like people were a little bit more reluctant with going to a doctor. Or when you what do you call it, when you don't break a bone but you just like bruise it or something, like you just think, okay, I'm just gonna chill at home and not gonna go to the hospital,
which is a good thing.
Like significantly less of those cases now.
Okay, I mean, also probably less people get injured. I mean,
True.
Of course, most injuries happen in the household, as the statistic always likes to say. But I think people are just not really going really like extreme ways to hurt themselves right now. It's just different for the pandemic.
Yeah, the worst thing you're gonna get is a paper cut now, huh?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
From the home office.
Eye soreness from looking at screens all day. So I blue light glasses.
Oh, I got so mad this week. Speaking of fucking injuries, have you been on the new David Dobrik controversy?
I think I saw with like Jeff Wittek, like with the whole like crane thing.
Yeah, what's it called, like an excavator thing.
I didn't basically see that one.
What they did, David wanted to make content, and they put like the excavator crane machinery in shallow water, and they had a rope attached to it, and then someone would operate the machine and spin around. And first of all, it's kind of fun because they just did some surfing tricks, and then Jeff got on there, and David actually operated the machinery.
Yeah,
and he just fucking eats him, I don't know how high, and then he accelerates and he goes higher and higher with the arm, and Jeff goes flying, and he just stops the machine, and Jeff just bumps into the machine with his head, and he could have fucking died.
Ah,
I saw a video of like 100 yards away or something, and you could still hear like the of Jeff hitting the machine.
Oh, fuck. Man.
Yeah, but at this point I was like, David, you fucking imbecile. Because you could see that he actually, accelerated the thing, made it go higher, and then abruptly stopped it. Like, you fucking imbecile. I get that you want to make content, but stop treating your friends like this. This is just... Stop putting your career above being a decent human fucking being. Can we just please be a decent human being? Jesus fuck.
That is so weird. Like the dude, like how is that his response to this controversy?
David, nothing so far.
Yeah, no. I mean, but like with all the controversy that he's had now of treating his friends like dog shit, right? How do you go ahead and do this? Of course, it's an accident. I don't think he meant for that to happen.
Yeah, of course.
But bro, like really, that's some risky shit to do while you're under fire like he is right now.
Yeah. And I know, I just really hope it's going to reflect on this and not necessarily make like a new apology video and trying to save his career, but really focus on, am I doing this right? Am I being a decent human being right now?
Yeah.
Because almost getting your friends for some content, that's just ridiculous.
That is fucking ridiculous, especially at the size that he's at. Like he can chill too. Of course, he wants.
He even because he had this what's called Dispo,
I think so,
the disposable camera app for your phone. I think he because he was the co-founder, right, or something. But he's not part of Dispo anymore too, because of the controversy.
Yeah, I mean, he also lost like every branding deal ever.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was also president for like a soccer club, like a somewhat a president, and he got kicked off of that too, man.
Fucking imagine he ends his apology video with, I wouldn't have been able to make this video without SeatGeek.
Man. Oh, that'd be some funny shit. Like a sponsored apology video. It's a funny idea, man. You just have 3 different sponsors in there. Well, just starts fake crying. Wouldn't be able to cry like this without the deals from SeatGeek. The new Chipotle is out now.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, like it's so weird to me because we used to be kind of fans of David, right? And watch his content, and I don't know, he just seems really toxic. And I mean, can happen. Like you'll sometimes you gotta make mistakes to learn. But I really hope his first priority is not gonna be saving his career right now, but investing in himself.
Yeah, man, he gotta take care of his friends right now. Like for real. I mean. And it makes sense. I heard the one article I read about it. It also said that like Jeff was like hesitant to say the reason of his injuries because it's like been reported for like a longer time now, and it makes total sense because if Jeff told the story, like I don't know, it's really bad timing.
Well, he did right now, right? Because he made a documentary series like How I Broke My Face or something, and there he addressed the David Dobrik shit.
Oh man, but that's not good timing.
No. On the other hand, I feel like Jeff's got to get a free pass on this one. I mean, the sole fact that he didn't press charges gives him some leverage in this whole situation.
Yeah, 100%, man. But I don't know. That's also another fucked up thing since he's been to jail, right? Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it is in America over there. If you've been to jail and you try to sue someone else.
Yeah, true. And it's his friends, of course. Like, you're not going to sue your friends that easily.
And he did go on there voluntarily.
Yeah, true. That's also very true. He could have estimated that this was a dangerous situation, but still, you don't expect someone to accelerate and no.
Yeah, that's also
Corinna
true,
just got off of that thing though. Would have imagine if Corinna hit her head like that.
I don't know. I mean, in the end, I'm just glad that no one got seriously injured. You know, like he
did break his face.
Yeah, okay, but he didn't die. You know.
Yeah, but he probably does have some permanent brain damage.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. It's such a difficult situation. What we said before, like voluntarily, right? Like, of course, you can say. I mean, I don't know. Like the thing that David really got fired for was the Seth situation, right?
Yeah,
that wasn't really voluntarily.
No, that yeah. No.
But the rest of his stunts, like, are usually, of course, you can always make the case, like, oh, you know, but he didn't have to do it, but he does push them to.
That's the difficult thing because it's something totally different. We had this dude in the Netherlands who locked up his kids in his house basically, and he had 9 kids, and like 5 of them weren't even registered, so technically they never existed. And now 2019, one of them escaped, and now there's a documentary series about them because they wanted to tell the true story. But his lawyer also made the case, well, he didn't lock them up. They could leave at any point they wanted to. Yeah, but it's psychological, right? If you tell your kids, hey, if you're going to leave the property, you're going to be hit by lightning. And every time they try to leave, you don't punish them, but you punish their brothers and sisters. That's fucking mental torture.
Yeah. 100%. Like there's nothing you can do. You can't leave, even though physically you could.
Yeah. The Lord just said, yeah, well, there weren't any locks on the door. Yeah, no shit. But there's obviously a power difference with the parent and the kid.
Yeah.
And it's not just because there isn't a lock on the door, you can leave. That's not how life works.
Very true. And power differences in general, I mean, in David's case too, but like in general, like authority and power is a very, very powerful thing mentally, because we humans are really kind of like drilled to listen to superior people, right? And it's a real thing, man. The pressure from that can be crazy.
Yeah, and it still fucks with the kids because now they're in their late 20s, I think. But some of them at least. But their dad thought he was the new Messiah or something, and he thought Jesus was a traitor. But for some of the kids, like if you're not registered, you also don't need to go to school, right? You're not obligated to do anything because technically you don't exist. So they never knew anything else. But even the ones who did go to school, they still sometimes question themselves, like, did I make the right decision of leaving? What if he is the Messiah?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, that's so fucked up. Like, I feel really fucking bad for those kids. And that's like, I remember we had a conversation about it, about if it's necessary to have a license to have kids.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, it's a real ethical question. Like, I think that is really free. It should be free will. If you want to have kids, go have kids. But sometimes, like, the first 5 years are the most damaging ones for a child. So if that's like a really, really bad influence, you know, then it's also a fucked up thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, I've seen a documentary with the kids, like, of course they can still make it in life, but they will never, their life will never be normal. Never.
True. But then what is normal? You know, I feel like we all have some trauma, but
we all have some trauma, but I mean, the way they got treated is
no comparison.
Yeah, of course, there was physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. There was a kid who got locked up in a doghouse for a year for no fucking reason.
Man, and back in the day, like I'm so glad we have like we care about each other enough to have these type of rules and like certain things that we actually do take kids from families from time to time. You know, even though it's a really fucked up thing and also a difficult ethical question, but it shows that we care about one another. And that's generally a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was also an interesting question because the dude, the dad in this situation, he had a TIA, like a bleeding in his brain. So the question was he able to stand trial? Like, was he mentally there to enough to stand trial? And then the kids even, you know, started doubting it. Like, hey, should we even persecute him right now? Like, hasn't he suffered enough? And then my girlfriend actually made an interesting comment about it. And she said, we shouldn't just prosecute him for the kids, but just as society to show like you can do this shit, to show as a society that we stand, like that we are totally against this, that no, locking up your children and shit. Like, no, we don't do that here.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to make an example.
Yeah, because technically everyone can do it, right? I mean, it's pretty easy to just not register your kids, and if you live on a farm, I mean,
who's gonna know?
Yeah,
and if you only like, if they never leave the house, who's gonna see it? You know?
Yeah. So I mean, I do agree. Maybe as a society, we should show like, hey, if we find out, you're definitely gonna stand trial.
Yeah.
But then again, yeah, it's difficult. It's not as black and white, of course.
But that's the difficulty in like most questions, right? Like black and white rarely exists.
Yeah.
It rarely exists because like, you know, everyone who does shit like that probably also had a completely fucked up life, you know? Yeah. And then of course we weren't as set up now, like before, than we are now, you know, like if you would do shit like this 200 years ago, you know, we're not going to have a trial really, and people are going to not really give a fuck. And it's great to see how far we've come with that. But it's always difficult to see, man, what people went through, you know, and because that determines necessarily like all their actions subconsciously. It's a crazy thing, man.
Yeah.
But still, of course, no justification, man. That shit is fucked up.
Yeah. It's just also an interesting question, right? Because society-wise, you want this person to stand trial, but if he's really not able to stand trial, yeah, everyone deserves a fair trial.
Yeah.
Because it's not a trial is not guilty or innocent, right? It's guilty or not guilty.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also true. Man, but I'm this is like a real ethical pinball, you know? Yeah. Like but man, it's tough to see. Like in general, we have so many decisions like that, and we can just hope that we as like the whole species of humanity will figure it out and always at least be on the positive side. And I think that we generally are, but the media loves to report the other side because that's what gets people talking. Like, I think we have cases like this, but we also never hear of a regular case where it's just a regular family, you know? And
Yeah.
those cases are way, way more. And that's kind of like a shame in a way, you know? Like, I get
Yeah.
it. Like, why report on it? But
Yeah, it's just and then you would need to have like a governmental news company, I guess, because right now it's all private companies, right? So then you're just gonna go for the headline that gets the most clicks.
yeah. And that's normal, you know, and it makes
Yeah.
sense business wise. But it's a shame because I think like even if you go through your city, if you go through your village, whatever, wherever you live, I bet you most people are going to be helpful. Most people are going to give you a smile back. Most people are going to be nice to you, and they don't bother you if you don't bother them. But we don't hear, like, of course, especially during COVID times now, it's even more difficult to have these interactions because people, I feel like, talk less on the streets. So I don't know, man, but we got to stay positive for ourselves and just always be kind to one another.
Yeah, yeah. Let's again maybe the example of how what's her name, Margaret Mead, thinks civilization started. You know, by looking out for one another, and we can achieve a lot by just being a decent human being. Not even good, decent.
Yeah. And next time you're thinking about, jackbooting your friends into a crane, you know, think about it first. Could they hurt themselves?
Yeah, and I think it's in David's case, it's not necessarily this one because you know it can be an accident, right? But it's kind of a repetition of events that kind of shows the toxic behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. But let's not dwell on the bad things, you know.
Yeah.
We haven't asked the question yet, you know, how's your week?
My week, interesting. Uni and I did some research on Latin America history, so that was fun.
Oh, okay.
And the weather was nice, so I spent a lot of time outside. So.
Always crucial. Any information historically from Latin America that like stood out to you?
Stood out to me. Well, you had Potosi in Bolivia, and that's it was the biggest mine in the world for silver, basically, and that's how our intercontinental even trading started, because then we had enough silver to make the same coins. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
And a different history fact I came across is because you have these weird birds in Europe that just fuck off in winter, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, we didn't really know where they went, right? Because you just see them leaving and then they come back. And you're like, oh, I guess you're back now.
Yeah.
But at some point, one of the birds came back with a fucking spear through their neck, and the spear was from Africa. So then they kind of had a better idea of, that's where you go.
What? A spear from Africa?
Yeah.
How did they know that? Like, and how did that bird still fly? What the fuck? What type of bird was that? A dinosaur?
I mean, I guess when it just doesn't hit your throat, but just your neck.
But he made it all the way from Africa to Europe with a fucking spear through his neck?
Yeah, and I don't know if they figured, if they knew Africa back then already, like through trading or something, because maybe they just didn't see them in Africa, right? But yeah, I don't know the time period, so I don't know if they were aware of what African was, or just figured like, oh, they're going to a distant land. But I thought it was a fun fact that the bird just came back with like, oh, I'll show you where I came from.
That's one way to do it. But what a fucking bird. Like, honestly, how can you fly with a fucking spear? And that's distance, but okay.
And said African who lost his spear. That's how a bird flying away with it.
Exactly. Imagine you're like hunting and you like yeet that thing and suddenly that bird just keeps flying.
Yeah. Like fuck, now I gotta make a new one.
Yeah, that's true. That's what he was hoping for, some meat, you know, and a spear back, and what he got was nothing.
Yeah, double loss.
Poor dude, man. But I guess.
But he made it to Might As Well The podcast, so a big win.
true. Things like that really can go travel the world now these days.
Oh, I also saw some weird article about that shit. It was about virtual influencers. Apparently, there are, because we have been able to create faces that don't exist, right?
Yeah.
And apparently we've been using those faces and like a CGI body and just making virtual influencers who promote products. And now they have like 2 million followers because people really don't know that they don't exist. They're not actual humans.
That
just some CGI shit.
What the? This is some Black Mirror shit to the fullest. What the hell? Fake influencers? That's how far we've come?
Yeah, like virtual influencers, I guess.
Holy fuck. And they rack up the numbers? Man.
Well, I mean, it just started, but one is already 2 million followers. So on Instagram, I think. So that's also a platform where 2 million is still quite a lot.
That is, on Instagram, 2 million is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, 2 million people is always a lot.
Yeah.
But holy fuck.
All those people who said, I'm going to be an influencer now sweating.
or they see it as an opportunity. You know, maybe they don't want to sell their own soul. You know, let's just create a virtual profile and I'm going to just, know the shit behind it and let this face be the puppet, like be the puppet.
Yeah.
Ooh, but that's, I also heard the other day that like, when it comes to propaganda, there's this, huge Russian and like, I mean, probably the US and Europe probably also has shit like that. But in the case I heard about Russian, that there's like a big Russian company that hires people to create meme pages and everything, right? And then like just like accounts gather followers and they just like post regular content, like also like really funny memes and shit. And then when like certain like elections are coming up or they want to pursue a certain message, they want to influence the viewers, right? They kind of get activated and they post memes or they post things in like a certain direction to influence people. And I thought that was fucking crazy.
Jesus.
Like you don't know if the meme page that you follow on Instagram is in really like some Russian thing. And if you see, Putin, some Putin propaganda, some Putin memes, maybe it has a different type of aspect to it. And I thought that's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Man, where are we getting with this? Like what, like social media is such a interesting development.
Yeah, and it's still so new. Like we all act like we're so fucking familiar with it. But let's just say someone's been in a coma for 10 years. And start listening to this podcast right now, this episode. We've been saying sentences that they don't understand, like Instagram, memes,
influencers.
That's it. Influencers, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, probably realizing I'm listening to a podcast. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, it's true. Like 10 years, a lot of things happened. And then even they would have completely missed out on COVID. Like imagine just waking up to the situation how it is right now with everybody taking it like normal.
Imagine sitting out like a 50-year prison sentence and then coming out in lockdown.
Rip. What, you're gonna wish that jail back, man. At least there you didn't need to cook, now you get all the fucking shit and you're still in one house.
I see.
Oh man, but it's fucked. Oh man, it's also it's really interesting to see. Like 10 years are also gonna develop more rapid. So 10, like if you're looking 10 years back, it's crazy what happened in 10 years. But 10 years in the future, we're gonna look back 10 years and we're like, that's even crazier that happened in the last 10 years.
Well, that's why we got that future episode, right? That we definitely already recorded.
Totally. I mean, how would you guys know? Got to time travel for that one.
Just gonna record it one day in advance and then like, oh, you were so right. Oh, how nice.
That'd be so funny. I mean, someone is gonna find that clip on Twitter and be like, yo, they really fucking knew their shit. We're gonna be up there with Simpsons in like most accurate future predictions.
Ooh, yeah, they crazy though. I mean, I know the world doesn't make sense and life is absurd. But that's some crazy coincidences if they are.
Oh yeah, my favorite. I read up the other day on on like psychics and also like people who say that they can read the future, right? I mean,
Mhm.
tarot is kind of like in there, but I do it a little differently. But there's this great Nostradamus. He's a French astronomer in like the 1600s. Like, so, I mean, I don't know if you know the name, but he was someone who always said like, I can tell the future and stuff. And I read up like what he accurately predicted, and he did say some crazy shit. Like he did kind of predict Hitler. Like he said, an Austrian boy is gonna like create some shit. Like, so certain things were pretty accurate, but the thing that got me was he predicted his own death. Right? And it's
Okay.
like, oh, that's crazy. When did he do that? Right? The evening before. So I can imagine him like, and he woke up like dead the next morning, right? Like people found him dead.
He woke up dead.
I guess. So I wonder what that night must have been like for him, though. Must have been like, oh shit, I want to die. I need to be right. Maybe the
Being
dude
so
kicked
fucking
him, though.
stubborn that you so set in your ways that you naturally can kill yourself
He
just to be right.
like, like how you're just trying to die, stop breathing, see what happens. I was right. Man.
Oh man.
That's some real fortune telling skills, though. I will die the next morning taking some cyanide pills.
Oof.
Oh, but all right, man. I think I don't have a time for this one,
No, me neither.
but
Actually, I also have no idea what time we started.
I think like somewhere around 50 minutes ago, maybe
Okay.
even longer. I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll
It's
see.
a gamble.
It always is, especially on Zoom meetings.
Oh hell yeah.
Man, that shit is also so bizarre how like we got a whole new type of vocabulary during this pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody knows what Zoom is these days.
Yeah. Isn't it also very funny that we always have like a word of the year, and usually it's a quite recent one, but sometimes it isn't.
Okay. Well, do you got an example? Do you know what the word of the year?
I think the at word of the year, I don't remember it of this year, but it was definitely COVID related. But I remember like a couple of years ago in the Netherlands, it was the word flabbergasted, like not even translated, just flabbergasted. That was the word of the year.
What is that supposed to be? You hear everyone saying it in the streets.
Language is in general a very interesting topic.
That is true. It's bizarre, and it develops as well as we do. It scratches words, it changes words, it changes grammar. It really develops over time.
And it shows where you come from in a way, because I don't know if this is gonna make sense. Gonna try to make sense of it in a very short amount of time. In Dutch, we have two words for a refrigerator. We have like a cooling cabinet and an ice cabinet. And apparently the people who use the word ice cabinet are usually, well, their ancestors were richer. So they came from a different point in society than the people who use the cool cabinet. And some employers, when they have job interviews, actually look for those words to kind of see from what family you're from.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I think in general, like language can tell you so much. It's also like where you come from, but also when you come from.
Yeah.
Like if you would time travel, people hear you speak. I mean, of course, it's difficult if you like travel to the past, but if you would travel to the future, maybe someone could piece together what time frame you would come from.
Yeah.
Just from the way you speak.
I mean, definitely. When we're gonna look back at photos in the photo album in like 40 years, we're gonna see face masks. We're exactly gonna know. That was the 20-year period. No, just kidding.
Oh, God.
the 2-year period.
And then someone says, "Oh, is this the first, second, or fifth pandemic?"
Yeah, we were wearing gas masks here already, or wasn't that a thing yet?
Oh, weird! You guys.
Remember how free we were back then?
Huh?
Remember how free we were back then? Then we thought the lockdown was so bad.
Oh, fuck. It's exactly what you don't want to hear. Oh, there's no war in this picture yet? Oh, is that the Eiffel Tower? Oh, interesting. That's not standing anymore.
We also had 2 arms. Okay.
You can still grow hair.
Ouch.
Exactly. Oh, weird point right here, man.
Right in the fields.
Yeah.
Right in the fields.
Where's my agave tree if I need it? And I think the dog is at my door.
JJ.
I think so. This time.
Isn't JJ pregnant?
No, she's
some point?
I think she was last year, but I wasn't here. But my dog, it's sick right now. It's like it's a weird hormonal thing. I also didn't know that was like a case. Apparently, there's something like you think you're pregnant, but you're not. And dogs have it, and like that's why she's like not feeling too well right now. But I wonder, it's strange that like humans don't have that, for example. Like because we're aware of it, right? We have tests, but like nature, like she always like in the yard, she's always trying to like make like a, like build a little thing where she can put kids in necessarily.
No, that's kind of sad.
It is, man. It is.
But I'm also pretty fucking sure there is some TLC episode about a woman who thinks she's pregnant when she's not. It's gotta be.
But there's a TLC episode for absolutely everything, man. My favorite part of it is like when they always have these like strange addiction things, and then they always pull up with the truck like full of the thing that person desires. Like, oh, I'm addicted to cheese. And then they come with a whole fucking truck full of cheese and like, what?
Yeah. Or when they have like a weird fetish or something and they're like filming a guy making out with a car and you're like, no, like, I don't need to see this. And doing it is already, from my perspective, weird. I mean, you're not hurting anyone, so to each their own. But then to also do it while there's a camera right next to you is a whole nother level of weirdness. I don't know. I can handle. I mean, to each their own. Do your thing, but I don't necessarily need to see it.
100%, man. I mean, I think as a TLC camera crew member, you have a lot of stories to tell, though. Like
you have a strong stomach, man.
Also. You see some weird shit in this world, man. But I also wondered, like, I mean, with entertainment always, like I also sometimes really believe certain things are scripted. Like, how do they find these people?
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about a bit below deck, right? Sometimes, there's no reality in reality TV anyway. So a lot of shit is scripted, but we don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss.
Can't stop us from enjoying this shit, No.
And I think we need to cut it here, maybe, because else we're gonna run out of space. I think.
Ooh, that is actually true. I think we got a decent time in. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for listening. What is the takeaway from this episode?
Oh, this time at the end. Well, I wouldn't say try not to kill your friends.
Yeah, just be a decent human being. Exactly. No pressure. You don't even need to be good. Just be decent.
Yeah, just decent. Just you don't need to let someone go in front of you at the line in the grocery store. But
no, fuck that shit.
Just don't hurt one another.
Yeah, just if there's someone behind you in the line and they have like one product, you don't need to say like, oh, you can go first. But when they are, you just need to wait until they ask, and then you need to say, oh, I guess, and then they can go.
Yeah,
just be a decent human being.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that analogy. Okay. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.
So fucking wacky. This thing is just like, I look like, oh, my arm.
Yes, well.